Archangel Michael speaks directly to you. Stop, whatever you're doing right now. Stop, because this message was not meant for everyone. It was meant for you. Specifically, personally, and if you feel something shifting inside you right now, a warmth, a tightening in your chest, a quiet knowing that something is different about this moment, that's not coincidence, that's confirmation. My name is Michael, and I have been watching over you for longer than you know. You didn't find this message. This message found you. At this exact moment, at this exact hour, when you are carrying exactly what you are carrying. And I need you to understand something before we go any further. I see it, all of it, not just the version of you that you show the world. Not the smile, not the, I'm fine. Not the strength you perform every single day just to get through. I see the version of you that exists at night. When the house is quiet. When nobody's watching. When you finally let yourself feel everything you've been holding back. That version of you. That's who I came for. You have been in a battle. And not the kind that anyone around you fully understands. This has been a spiritual battle. A silent war happening beneath the surface of your everyday life. And most days, you've been fighting it alone. You wake up, you push through, you help other people, you answer the texts, you show up, but somewhere deep inside, there's a weight that doesn't lift, no matter how busy you stay, no matter how much you pray, no matter how many times you tell yourself, things are going to get better. That weight, I know exactly what it is. And I came here today to tell you, it is about to shift. But first, I need to tell you the truth. Because I don't come with flattery. I come with truth, and the truth is, something has been pulling at you. Something that you haven't been able to name. A restlessness, a feeling that you are supposed to be further along. A sense that your life should look different by now. That you should feel different. More certain, more peaceful, more whole, and instead, there are days when you feel like you're running in circles. Days when the doubt creeps in before the sun even rises. Days when you catch yourself wondering, is any of this working? Does anyone see what I'm going through? Am I going to be okay? I want you to hear me clearly right now. Yes, you are going to be okay. But we have something important to talk about first. Because I see something else. Something you haven't admitted to yourself yet. Or maybe you have, in those quiet, honest moments. When you can't run from your own thoughts. There is a habit, a pattern, a way of coping that you keep returning to. Even when you know, even when part of you knows, that it's keeping you stuck. Maybe it's the way you pull back from people when you need them most. Maybe it's the way you numb yourself at night. Scrolling, eating, drinking, working, anything to not sit with the feeling. Maybe it's the way you replay old conversations, old wounds, old versions of yourself that you are ashamed of, over and over, like a punishment, like you believe you deserve the pain. I need to pause here. And I need you to actually hear this. You do not deserve the pain. You never did. But here is what I also need to say. And this is the part that takes courage to receive. That pattern you keep returning to. It has a cost you can feel. In your energy, in your relationships, in the way you look at yourself in the mirror, in the distance you feel from God. Not because God has moved away from you, but because you've been closing the door from your side. Quietly, little by little, choosing the familiar comfort of the wound, over the unfamiliar risk of healing. And I am not here to condemn you for that. I am here to tell you. The door is still open. It has never been locked. Not once. Let me tell you what I've seen in the weeks before this moment. I have watched you carry something that was never yours to carry. Guilt that belongs to someone else's choices. Blame that was placed on you unfairly. Expectations that were too heavy from the beginning. And rather than setting them down, you carried them harder. You told yourself, if I just try harder, if I just do more, if I just become enough, then the pain will stop. Then the people who left will return. Then the validation will finally come. And I need you to understand something. You have been trying to earn what was already yours. You were chosen, not because you are perfect, not because you have your life together, not because you never fall. You were chosen because of the light inside you. A light that you, honestly, have been doubting. A light that the enemy, that darkness, has been trying to convince you does not exist. Have you felt it? That voice? The one that tells you, you're too broken, you've made too many mistakes. God can't use someone like you. You're not worthy of miracles. That voice is a lie. And it is not my voice. It is not God's voice. It is the voice of fear. And today, right now, we are going to call it out by name. If you've been feeling like something is spiritually off, like your prayers are hitting a ceiling, like you're going through the motions but not really feeling connected, I want you to know that feeling is real. But the reason for it might surprise you. It is not because God stopped listening. It is because something has been blocking the frequency. Think of it like interference. Static on a line. You're sending the signal, but there's something in between, disrupting the connection, and that something is usually what we refuse to look at. The unforgiveness you're holding, the resentment that lives in your chest like a stone, the guilt you've been carrying since that moment. You know the one that comes to mind right now. Yes, that one. That is the interference, and until we deal with it, you will keep feeling that distance, that emptiness, that spiritual static. Now, I want you to stay with me here. Because this is where it starts to change. This is where the miracle begins. Not in a flash of lightning, not in a dramatic sign from the sky, but in this quiet recognition. Right here, right now, where you admit to yourself, there is something I need to let go of. There is something I need to heal. There is something I have been running from. That admission, that honesty, that is the crack in the wall. And that is all God needs. I want to tell you about someone. I won't use a name. But this person, they looked a lot like you do right now. Tired, searching, feeling like every prayer was going unanswered. They had been through something painful. A loss, a betrayal, something that changed the shape of their life. And on the surface, they were functioning, moving forward, doing what needed to be done. But on the inside, there was a door they refused to open. A room inside themselves they had sealed shut. Because the pain behind that door was too much. Or so they believed. And so they kept walking past that door. Every single day, choosing the hallway over the healing. Until one night, in the silence, they felt something. Not a voice exactly. More like a warmth, a presence, a knowing. And the message was simple. It's time. And they opened the door. And yes, the grief was there. And the anger was there. And the shame was there. But underneath all of it, there was something else. Something that had been waiting patiently, peacefully, through all of it. Love. That is what is waiting for you behind your closed door. Not judgment, not punishment, not a list of everything you've done wrong. Love, the kind that doesn't make sense by human logic. The kind that exists not because you earned it, but because you were created to be held by it. And it has never stopped being there. Not when you walked away. Not when you made that choice you regret. Not when you said those words you wish you could take back. Not when you gave up. Not when you fell. Not when you stayed down longer than you should have. It was there, through all of it. And now, right now, I need you to receive something. If you've been waiting for a sign that you are not forgotten, this is it. If you've been wondering whether your life still has purpose, this is the answer. If you've been questioning whether God is still with you, feel this moment, right now. The fact that you are here, watching this, at this exact second, is not random. There are millions of people who could have been given this message. But it came to you. Because something in heaven looked at your situation and said, not yet, not on my watch. We are not losing this one. That is how seen you are. That is how known you are. If this message is speaking to something deep inside you, and you want to keep receiving this kind of direct spiritual guidance in your life, Stay close to this space. More messages are coming, and each one was crafted specifically for someone in exactly the kind of season you are in right now. You don't have to walk this path without a guide. Now let me speak about something that very few people talk about openly. The spiritual attacks that come disguised as your own thoughts. Because here is what the enemy is brilliant at. He doesn't always come loudly. He doesn't always come with dramatic temptation. Sometimes he comes quietly, in your own voice, in thoughts that sound like yours. I'm not enough. This isn't going to work. Nobody really cares. I'm too far gone. What's the point of even trying? Familiar? Those thoughts, they are not yours. They are planted, carefully, strategically, in the moments when you are most tired, most vulnerable, most alone, and they are designed to do one thing: keep you from stepping into what God has prepared for you. Because the enemy doesn't attack what has no value. Think about that. He attacks what threatens him. And you threaten him. Your healing threatens him. Your awakening threatens him. Your willingness to step into purpose threatens him. That's why the opposition has been so strong. That's why the road has felt so hard. Not because you are cursed. Because you are chosen. Let me tell you about the next chapter. The one that begins after this moment. Because there is a shift coming. I have seen it, and it is not small. What God has prepared for the next season of your life is not a consolation prize. It is not a better than nothing. It is not a plan B. It is the full, overwhelming, breathtaking plan A. The one that was written before you were born. The one that accounts for every detour you've taken. Every mistake. Every wasted year. Every time you started over. All of it is woven in. Not as damage, as depth. Because the person who comes through pain with grace is not diminished by the journey. They are deepened by it. And that depth is exactly what will make what comes next so undeniable, so powerful, so clearly the hand of God, that even you won't be able to explain it away. But here is what I need from you. And this is not a request. This is a spiritual instruction. You need to stop apologizing for existing. You need to stop making yourself smaller to make other people comfortable. You need to stop treating your needs like they are inconveniences. You need to stop waiting for permission from people who were never given the authority to approve your destiny. You are enough, right now, exactly as you are, not when you lose the weight, not when you fix the mistake, not when you've proven yourself, not when you've suffered enough. Right now, as you are worthy of the miracle. You are worthy of the breakthrough. You are worthy of love. And anyone who has ever made you feel otherwise was mistaken. Now let's talk about relationships. Because this is one of the areas where I see you struggling most silently. There are people in your life. And you love them. You genuinely do. But they drain you. They take more than they give. They leave you feeling emptier after every interaction. And you've been telling yourself, that's just how relationships are. I'm probably too sensitive. I need to be more patient. I shouldn't feel this way. Let me tell you the truth. Not every connection is meant to continue. Not every person in your life was assigned to you for the long road. Some people came for a season. And that season is over. And the reason you feel so drained is because you are still pouring into soil that is no longer meant to grow anything for you. This is not cruelty. This is not abandonment. This is discernment. And discernment is not the opposite of love. It is love for yourself, for your God-given energy, for the purpose you are meant to fulfill. Because you cannot pour out what has been emptied. And your healing, your purpose, your next chapter, requires that you have something left. I want to speak about forgiveness for a moment. Not because you need to hear a sermon on it, but because it is literally the key to the door you've been standing outside of. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was okay. It is not pretending the wound didn't exist. It is not returning to the person who hurt you. Forgiveness is the decision to stop letting the past live in your present, to stop allowing someone who hurt you years ago to still have a seat at the table of your daily peace. When you hold on to unforgiveness, you are not punishing them. You are imprisoning yourself, and they are walking free, living their life, while you are still in the cell of that moment, replaying it, feeding it, watering it, keeping it alive. It is time to let it die. Not for them, for you, because you were not created to be a museum of your worst moments and other people's worst choices. You were created for freedom, and freedom begins with the release. Now I want to speak about your faith, because I know there have been moments, real, honest moments, where your faith has wavered, where you prayed and nothing seemed to happen, where you trusted and then felt betrayed, where you believed, and then watched the opposite unfold, and you didn't know what to do with that, so you did what made sense. You got quiet, you pulled back, you stopped asking for so much, you lowered your expectations, you decided that maybe that level of blessing, that level of miracle, was not meant for you. I need you to hear this. Unanswered prayers are not rejected prayers. Some prayers are not answered in the moment, because the moment is not ready for the answer. Some blessings that seemed delayed were being prepared, perfected, aligned, protected from arriving too early, because you were not yet strong enough to carry them. The waiting was not punishment. The waiting was preparation, and everything you have been through, every hard season, every moment of confusion, every night you cried and heard nothing, was building the capacity inside you to hold what is coming. Do not mistake the preparation for abandonment. I want to give you something practical, something to do after this message ends. Not a ritual, not a complicated spiritual formula. Something simple. Tonight, find a quiet moment. It doesn't have to be long. 5 minutes. Sit still and speak honestly to God. Not a rehearsed prayer, not the language you use when you want to sound spiritual. Just you, raw and real. Tell God exactly what you're afraid of. Tell God exactly what you're angry about. Tell God exactly what you don't understand. Tell God what you need. Not politely, honestly, because God does not need your performance. God wants your presence, and when you speak that honestly, you will feel something shift. Not maybe, you will, because heaven has been waiting for that conversation for a long time. Let me speak about the miracle, because I came here with a specific message about what is about to happen. There is something that has been in motion, behind the scenes of your visible life. Something that began long before you were aware of it. A connection, a door, a resource, a healing, an answer, that is already in motion, already headed toward you, already set in divine time. And there is nothing the enemy can do to stop it, because it was authorized from a place of authority that he has no access to. The question is not whether it will arrive. The question is whether you will be positioned to receive it, whether you will be open, whether you will have cleared the clutter, the bitterness, the doubt, the closed doors inside yourself, that would block the blessing from landing where it was meant to land. This is why I came to you today. Not to scare you, not to pressure you, but to prepare you, to say, get ready, what is coming is real, and it is close. I want to speak one more time to that deep loneliness. The kind that exists even when you're surrounded by people. The kind that shows up in rooms full of laughter. The kind that makes you feel like a stranger in your own life. That loneliness, it is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you were made for more than surface connection. You were made for depth, for authenticity, for the kind of relationship where you don't have to translate yourself, where you don't have to shrink, where you don't have to perform. And that kind of connection, the deep, rare, genuine kind, does not come until you are first fully present with yourself, until you have sat in your own company without running, until you have met yourself fully, in the quiet, in the honesty, in the willingness to see yourself with grace. Because the connection you are craving from others begins with the connection you build within yourself, and the peace you are looking for in relationships begins with the peace you allow yourself to receive from God. You are about to enter a new level. I want to be very clear about what that means. A new level does not always look like comfort. It often looks like challenge. It often looks like being stretched, being asked to be braver than you have been, more trusting than feels safe, more open than feels reasonable. And there will be moments in this next season where you will be tempted to retreat, to go back to what's familiar, to shrink back into the smaller version of your life. Because growth feels dangerous, and the unknown feels threatening. And the enemy will use that discomfort to try to convince you that you made the wrong choice, that the blessing isn't real, that you should go back. Don't go back. Whatever you do, don't go back, because what is ahead of you is worth every moment of discomfort in the crossing. I have seen where this road leads, and it is more than you have dared to ask for, more than you have allowed yourself to imagine, more beautiful, more whole, more full than anything you have known before. I want to leave you with this. If you've been feeling like you are running out of time, like the window for your life to change is closing, like it's too late for the things you dreamed about, hear me, it is not too late. I am telling you from a place of absolute certainty. It is not too late. Your story is not over. The chapter you are in is not the last chapter. It is not even close to the last chapter. What feels like an ending is a threshold, and on the other side of this threshold is a version of your life that you have not yet had the courage to fully believe in. Start believing. Start now, not when things look better, not when the evidence arrives. Now, in the dark, in the uncertainty, in the waiting. That is called faith, and faith is the currency of miracles. If you want to continue receiving messages like this one, messages that speak directly to the real things you're going through, that remind you of who you are and what you're being prepared for, stay connected to this space. There is more to come, and the next message may be the one that answers the specific question you've been holding. Now let me close with this. Right now, as you finish reading or listening to these words, I want you to feel something. Not fear, not pressure, not the weight of everything that still needs to change. I want you to feel what is true. That you are covered, that you are seen, that you are loved with a love that precedes your mistakes and survives your worst days. That the God who created the universe knows your name, knows your situation, knows the prayer you haven't found words for yet, and is already moving on your behalf. That I, Michael, am assigned to you, not as a distant heavenly figure, but as a very real, very present force of protection around your life, around your home, around your family, around your future. You are not unguarded, you are not forgotten, you are not beyond reach. You are right in the center of divine attention, and the miracle you have been waiting for is not a question of if, it is only a question of when, and when is closer than you think. Now, take a breath, let your shoulders drop, unclench your hands, and know this: you are going to be okay. More than okay, you are going to be transformed, not because of anything you do perfectly, but because you were willing to be still, to listen, to receive. And that willingness, that single act of being open, is enough to begin. Go in peace, go in protection, go knowing that heaven walks with you every step, from this moment forward.